Said that week one, said in the middle of the season. I'm even saying it right now. Who cares about that loss last week? I'm not concerned about that. But they need momentum for a few reasons. One, that they're going to need something to power through what could be a chaotic playoff run. The last couple of years, there's always something that puts a screeching halt on their momentum. Okay, two, Drew Brees. What's going to happen with Drew Brees? When he comes back, he's still going to be a guy recovering from multiple rib fractures. All right, so you're going to need something to have on the sideline, whether it's Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, ready to go in case he takes a shot and he has to sit on the sideline for a quarter, for maybe a game, for a couple of weeks. Who's going to come in and fill that spot? And then I mentioned Taysom Hill. He's a really good quarterback. He's a great athlete, but you can't be both all of the time. When you leave the pocket, you got to be QB Taysom Hill. You can't be running back, physical, strong, the guy who sometimes plays special teams and wide receivers. You can't be that guy. You have to be able to leave the pocket, slide with your feet first while tucking the ball away like a scared quarterback. And I'm not saying every quarterback is weak or soft. I'm just saying play by the rules, because the moment you leave the pocket and you're being Taysom and you're still trying to fight for that extra yard and that ball comes out, that's the problem we're starting to see. And if we see it, a guy that used to play sitting in his basement talking about football, you know every single defense sees that. So the game plan is Taysom Hill is really good. He can throw the ball. I mean, don't be fooled by his athleticism. He can throw it over the top of your head. But when he leaves that pocket, first guy hit him, second guy go for the ball. That's going to get us a turnover. So for me, that's why. There's three main reasons. It's the momentum they need in the playoffs, what's going to happen with Drew Brees, and Taysom Hill being the backup, and some of the issues he has taking care of the ball.
Nate makes such good points, and yet there's a robot hanging over his shoulder. I can't barely pay attention, Nate. That robot is so menacing there. Gosh, what is he? I mean, it's like Nate's talking, but I'm looking at the robot, and the robot has such thoughts. He just needs to be a fifth host of the show. If we were to do power rankings right now, and Dan Hansis does it every Wednesday for us, where are you putting the Pittsburgh Steelers? Not for what they've done, but right now. Are you putting the Steelers above the Colts? Are you putting the Steelers above the Titans? Are you putting the Steelers above the Browns, who they've owned historically? I don't know what to make of the Steelers, and they're coming off two really bad losses. So now here's where I say, yeah, but. And here's my yeah, but. Like, the season the Steelers have had with the schedule changes due to everyone else's COVID-19 issues has really been a raw deal. I feel for them for that. They had to play games on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Mondays, Sundays. They've had games moved. They didn't have a true bye week. I feel like they now have a moment here, and they have a moment to collect themselves and say, what are we? What are we doing? Because right now we're still in a good spot. And we play the Bengals this weekend, and then we've got two more games that we've got to win, the Browns and the Colts, and then we go into the playoffs. The Steelers, to me, are fascinating, and I want to see them go out there this weekend and have that get-right game and not mess around and not have Garrett Gilbert take them to the wire or not have to worry about Alex Smith hitting Cam Sims on a third down pass to beat them in their building. Steelers haven't looked the same the last few weeks. I think they still have it in them, and they have a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback, and maybe the Defensive Player of the Year in T.J. Watt. There's enough there. Steelers, to me, are just fascinating right now, because I don't know if they're even a top 5 team if I'm ranking them around the league right now.
Peter's making such great points, and yet I'm just distracted by all of these people and all these women just looking at Vince Lombardi over his shoulder. It's kind of distracting, Peter, if to be honest. I'm trying to listen.
What's going on?
Steelers, and I'm thinking of the Packers. Now, what's going on in the set aside power rankings. Peter, if we were to do a segment called the don't know what to make of them rankings, which is the phrase that you used, the #1 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're #1 on the don't know what you make of them power rankings. I think we had this thought, or maybe this fallacy, that they were going to go on that bye week. They're going to go away, and they're going to come back and like, all right, they figured it out. They finally put it together. Now, I still don't know what to make of them. You know what I make of them? I'll say this again. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a greatest hits album. They are an impressive collection of parts from the past that aren't necessarily a cohesive album. Pick whatever track you want. Brady, Gronk, Antonio, Evans, Shady. It's very rare that the greatest hits album can really soar as an album. I'll give you Bob Marley Legend, Madonna The Immaculate Collection, Bruce Springsteen The Essential for all you sports writers out there. But you know what they need? They don't need a greatest hits. They need a best of. Very different. Greatest hits are just whatever was commercially charted the highest. Best of is your best songs, your most quality tracks. And you know, in that clip there, we saw a couple things. We saw Antonio Brown catching some short pass and getting tackled. And we saw Scotty Miller going deep to the end zone. Guys, if this is a best of, I don't know that Antonio Brown is the best guy to be out there for the team right now. It's a wild thing to say that Scotty Miller is better for the Bucs, but I'll tell you this, look it up. Antonio's snaps are going down. He's playing less, and he has an incentive-laden contract. Despite that, they are playing him less. He doesn't make a difference out there. And I think if you continue to keep Scotty Miller off the field, you are doing it because of reputation or maybe because Brady wants it, which is a whole nother soap opera. But if this is not a greatest hits, I don't care what Antonio did 12 years ago. I care what's happening now. And best of, I don't think he's an integral part of the offense. They need to figure that out.
Great points all around at GMFB with your thoughts there. I'll bring up I don't know why I'm all of a sudden, Kyle, like into the Bears. I've been so tough and critical of them all season long.
It's exciting.
And everything they've been through, get this. Chicago is still just one game back of the Cardinals for the final wild card spot. If they can win out, and it won't be easy, they've got the Vikings, so that might be a little easier. The Jags, okay, that's not bad. Then they have the Packers in Week 17. That's tough. Green Bay always beats Chicago, but then again, who knows what they're going to have to be playing for in Week 17. If they win out, they've got a good shot to get in. The next 3-game stretch is going to end up dictating their path, Trubisky's path, the future for Nagy, the future for Ryan Pace. I'm invested in the Chicago Bears over these last 3 weeks of the season just to see what it means down the stretch. Okay, let's bring in Ian Rappaport. We love your tweets at GMFB. I'm just getting situated here on my couch at home. Ian, let's go to the NFC East. What is the latest with some quarterback situations? We have Alex Smith, of course. We're a big fan of him on the show. And Daniel Jones, what's the latest?
Yeah, several up-in-the-air quarterback situations around the league. We'll focus on 2. First of all, you mentioned it. Alex Smith, the starting quarterback now for the Washington football team, dealing with a calf strain. Hasn't practiced yet this week, which, almost always, Kay, would mean he's not going to play. A starting quarterback doesn't practice officially Wednesday or Thursday. That's very bad news. It's just not quite that way for Alex Smith. There still is some optimism that he could potentially be out there, either 1 for practice today or 2, just to be able to play while resting his calf this week. I would say that is very up in the air now for Washington, and no one has ruled out Alex Smith. If he cannot go, Dwayne Haskins, their former franchise quarterback, would be the starter. And then there's a situation for Daniel Jones. He's not just dealing with the hamstring injury, also sprained his ankle early in the Giants' loss last week. He also has not practiced. But the caveat here is they didn't practice Wednesday, but nobody practiced Thursday because the team was home due to a COVID-19 situation. So we will see if Daniel Jones is able to get out there today. Obviously, if he is able to practice, has a chance to play Sunday. If not, Colt McCoy, who held it down in his 1 start, would be back in the saddle again.
Ian, do you have to work tomorrow for the doubleheader, or do you get to be on your couch like the rest of America?
I will be working and on my couch because my couch is like right over there. So if I have to get up and do TV, I'll just go sit back right on it very quickly.
So sweatpants and a suit top, right? The mullet of
100%.
TV broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.